Trump Derangement Syndrome, TDS, is a term often used by Trump supporters to describe what they perceive as irrational, almost hysterical opposition to the former president. Some argue that TDS could be tied to a form of mass psychosis, where collective hysteria distorts rational thinking. Throughout Trump's presidency, relentless media portrayals and inflammatory rhetoric from high-profile figures helped create a larger-than-life image of Trump as a dictatorial menace. A significant factor in this was the frequent comparison of Trump to some of history's worst dictators, particularly Hitler and Stalin. These comparisons weren't made lightly, but were repeated by influential figures. For example, President Joe Biden once likened Trump's methods to Nazi propagandist Joseph Goebbels, saying, "He's sort of like Goebbels. You say the lie long enough, keep repeating it, it becomes common knowledge." Actor Robert De Niro went even further, claiming, if he had his way, we'd wind up in a dictatorship that Hitler would be proud of. Such extreme rhetoric convinced many that Trump posed an unprecedented threat to democracy and world peace. But, after 4 years of Trump in office, none of these apocalyptic predictions came true. If anything, Trump's administration stands out for being the only modern presidency that didn't start any major new wars. In fact, Trump's foreign policy emphasized diplomacy and de-escalation. Under Trump, historic peace agreements were signed in the Middle East, notably the Abraham Accords, which brought Israel into normalized relations with several Arab nations. Furthermore, Trump's direct diplomacy with North Korea, though controversial, avoided escalating into a potential conflict. Compare this to the current Biden administration, which faces two major international crises, the war in Ukraine and the renewed conflict between Israel and Hamas. Neither of these flashpoints erupted under Trump's watch. Trump's approach to Russia involved sanctions but also dialogue with Vladimir Putin, and his administration armed Ukraine without escalating the situation into a full-scale war. Similarly, Trump's policies in the Middle East, while imperfect, managed to avoid sparking a new conflict between Israel and its neighbors. Despite all the warnings that Trump would destabilize the world, his administration was arguably one of the most peaceful in recent history. The comparisons to dictators like Hitler and Stalin now seem absurd in hindsight. His policies, though controversial, focused on avoiding major wars and promoting peace deals, while the Biden administration faces some of the most severe international conflicts in decades. Trump Derangement Syndrome, though often used humorously, may reflect how fear, exaggeration, and media-driven hysteria clouded judgment and painted a misleading picture of Trump's actual presidency.